The Hells Angels' alleged involvement in a shootout with a law enforcement. When the Hells Angels cause chaos and break the law, they end up in a violent fight with law enforcement. This shocking event shows the dangerous power struggle between a well-known biker club and those sworn to keep the law. Buckle up for this action-packed story that will keep you on the edge of your seat until the last shot is fired. Prevention through community involvement should also be a focus of efforts. People who are at risk of joining biker gangs can be kept away from them by promoting good alternatives like recreational programs, mentorship, and educational opportunities. Community groups and local officials need to work together to help and provide resources for people who may be easy targets for these criminal groups. The U.S. Department of Justice says that there are about 300 outlaw motorcycle gangs in the United States. The Hells Angels, Banditos, Mongols, Outlaws, and Sons of Silence are all known for doing a lot of bad things, like drug dealing and smuggling, both inside and outside of the country, are two of their main jobs. When outlaw motorcycle gangs get involved in drug dealing and other illegal activities, society suffers a lot. Violence over drugs, fights over territory, and organized crime activities all pose a serious threat to public safety. Often, innocent people get hurt in these fights, which can have long-lasting effects on the groups involved. Biker gang violence doesn't just happen in one area or place. The shootout in Waco was just one of many examples of how common this problem is. Waco Police Sergeant W. Patrick Swanton was right when he said that crimes and violence committed by biker gangs go beyond his area of responsibility. This shows that this is a national problem. Getting rid of biker gang violence takes a multifaceted approach that includes law enforcement, government, and community groups. To fight these criminal networks successfully, different governments need to work together and share information. With better information gathering, proactive law enforcement strategies, and targeted investigations, their operations can be stopped and their networks can be broken up. The Waco shootout, the Cossacks and the Banditos were in competition with each other. The main foes were the Cossacks and the Banditos, but 3 other motorcycle clubs also took part of the chaos. The transcript didn't say what these clubs were called, but the fact that they were there made the stress and violence on that bad day even worse. The primary biker clubs that participated in the Waco shootout were the Cossacks and the Banditos. The two gatherings considered themselves one-percenters, a term that came from a remark made in 1947 after a brutal bike rally. This implies that they consider themselves to be important for the 1% of individuals who violate the law and carry on with a criminal way of life. The battle in the Twin Pinnacle Cafe's parking garage immediately transformed into an out-and-out shooting. As weapons, individuals utilized chains, clubs, knuckle reinforcements, blades, firearms, and even AK-47 attack rifles. 9 individuals were killed and 20 more were harmed. A police officer said that the scene was the most incredibly rough thing he had at any point found in his 34 years at work. After the Waco shootout, 177 people were taken into custody by the police. But in 2019, all of the charges and warrants that said the person was involved in organized crime were dropped. This left the situation largely unresolved. It is thought that the cops killed 4 of those killed in the shootout. Even though they are a well-known motorcycle gang with a bad image, the Hells Angels were not directly involved in the violence that day. The specific explanations behind the Waco shootout and what each gathering needed to do are as yet not satisfactory. Yet it is realized that competitions between motorbike posses are much of the time brought about by regional questions, battles about drug dealing activities, and the longing to turn into the most remarkable gathering of bikers. The Waco shootout was a stark reminder that violence between biker gangs is not limited to a single event or area. Waco Police Sergeant W. Patrick Swanton made it clear that biker gang crime and violence are not just a problem in Waco, they're problems all over the country. The fight in Waco wasn't the first of its kind, and it shows that rival biker gangs still fight all over the country. On that fatal day in Waco, Texas, 2 rival biker gangs got into a gunfight after a chaotic scene at a Twin Peaks franchise. The main rivals were the Cossacks and the Banditos, and there were a total of 5 motorbike clubs that took part in the fight. 9 people died and 20 others were hurt in the fight. making it one of the most violent crime scenes law enforcement officers had ever seen. There are numerous criminal cruiser packs, or OMGs, in the U.S. The Hells Angels are one of the most remarkable. It is noteworthy that there are around 300 OMGs in the country that are related with criminal tasks like prescription overseeing and sneaking. Close by, various gangs like the Banditos, the Mongols, the Crooks, and offspring of Peaceful, the Hells Angels are significant for a huge bad behavior network that crosses both the U.S. and various countries. The Waco biker shootout saw individuals from two opponent groups going after each other with chains, clubs, knuckle reinforcements, blades, firearms, and AK-47 attack rifles. The police needed to step in, which prompted the passings of 9 bikers and wounds to another 20 individuals. Altogether, 177 were captured regarding the occasion, which made it one of the most ridiculously vicious crime locations that the cops who were there had ever seen. The Cossacks and the Banditos were the two main gangs in the fight, but on that fateful day, there were members of 5 different motorcycle groups in the Twin Peaks parking lot. People think that the fight started in the restaurant's bathroom and quickly turned into a full-scale shootout. The Waco shootout shed light on the larger problem of violence and crime in biker gangs, which goes far beyond the city borders of Waco. The event showed that there are organized crime groups and outlaw motorcycle gangs. These groups are involved in activities like drug trafficking both in the U.S. and abroad. It showed that violence and fights between biker gangs are a national problem that law enforcement agencies all over the country are trying to solve. 7 members of the Cossacks Motorcycle Club were killed. Their names will be written into the history of the club for all time. The Cossacks used the deaths of these 7 brothers, who were known as the Waco 7, as a gathering point. On their website, the club made a serious promise to never forgive and never forget. This statement shows how determined they were to get justice and honor their dead friends. The Waco biker shootout wasn't simply a solitary occasion. It was a side effect of a more pressing issue that influences the entire country. Brutality and wrongdoing by biker groups occur far out in the sticks. Waco Police Sergeant W. Patrick Swanton brought up that this is a public issue, including many bandit biker groups that are engaged with coordinated wrongdoing, for example, drug dealing and carrying. The Waco shootout happened because 2 biker gangs have been fighting for a long time. Even though the Cossacks and the Banditos were the main rival groups, there were also a number of other motorbike clubs at the scene. What began as a fight quickly turned into a wild gunfight that killed 9 bikers and hurt many more. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications to never miss an upload.